Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is vowing to hold a vote early next year on the $2 trillion Build Back Better Act. It comes as West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin said that he will not support President Biden's signature legislation. His announcement may be a fatal blow to the president's economic agenda.
And I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no on this legislation.
In a statement, the White House charged Senator Manchin with betraying the president and Congress with his remarks, writing, quote, "They represent a sudden and inexplicable reversal in his position and a breach of his commitments to the president and the senator's colleagues in the House and Senate." Senator Joe Manchin's vote is critical to passing the Build Back Better Act in an equally divided chamber. Harsh reaction quickly came from other Senate Democrats.
Mr. Manchin doesn't want to support us. Well, look, we've been dealing with Mr. Manchin for month after month after month. But if he doesn't have the courage to do the right thing for the working families of West Virginia and America, let him vote no in front of the whole world.
In a separate statement, Senator Manchin said that he is open to working with the White House and top Democrats on a so-called scaled-down version of the Build Back Better Act. Lawmakers return to Capitol Hill in January. And join me now is Amber Athey, Washington editor at The Spectator. Amber, welcome back. Always so good to see you. As you know, Senator Manchin essentially killed the Build Back Better bill. I want to get your thoughts on that. And are you at all surprised?
It is not surprising. What I'm surprised by are all of his colleagues in the Democratic Party acting like they're surprised. Joe Manchin made quite clear from the beginning what he was looking for in this bill. He actually laid out a list that he reportedly gave to the White House and to Joe Biden of the priorities that he was looking for, as well as a much lower price tag after the CBO score. And what was most important is that this bill contains many energy industry killing policies, and that is of utmost importance for Joe Manchin's constituents in West Virginia. So it is pretty crazy that Bernie Sanders would say that Joe Manchin is not looking out for working families. That is precisely what he is doing with his vote.
Yeah, at a press briefing this afternoon, Jen Psaki said the objective is to get this legislation passed. That said, Amber, do you think that is possible? I mean, can a compromise be reached after all that we've seen so far?
It's going to be increasingly difficult now that all of these Democratic senators, as well as colleagues in the House, have come out bashing Joe Manchin and acting like he is not looking out for his constituents. They've tried to say that he's betraying them, that he's a traitor. Those types of words said publicly are only going to make him dig in further to his position and make him less likely to move further to the progressive left from the center where he's at right now. So this is a real breakdown in negotiations and are only going to make things more difficult for the Biden administration if they try to do a smaller scale bill in the future.
Yeah, I guess we will see what happens there. I want to switch gears just a little bit here. It seems that the White House COVID response team has made their messaging even more aggressive, telling the unvaccinated, quote, "You're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm." Your thoughts on this strategy as President Biden is expected to speak tomorrow about the pandemic?
Well, I think it's very unlikely that that type of aggressive and condescending attitude is going to convince anyone who's unvaccinated to get vaccinated. We've been saying since the beginning on the right that the best way to get people vaccinated, if they need to be, is to treat them with compassion and try to understand their concerns. And the White House has repeatedly done the opposite, threatening people's jobs and livelihoods if they refuse to get the vaccine. I think it would go a much further way if they were to recognize that there are plenty of people out there who are young and healthy who maybe don't need to get vaccinated or need to get a booster shot, particularly when that applies to young children who are at very low risk of severe side effects from the virus, and focus on getting older populations and populations that might have comorbidities vaccinated. Instead, they've taken this across-the-board, one-size-fits-all approach, and they've gotten increasingly more aggressive towards those people who haven't gotten vaccinated yet and tried to blame the entire pandemic on them, even though we know that vaccinated people are still almost just as likely to get and spread the virus. It really is an unfortunate way of them trying to lessen the severity of this pandemic, and it's very anti-science as well.
And Amber, what are you expecting to hear from President Biden tomorrow when it comes to the pandemic and this new variant?
Well, if he goes by what the tone of that statement was, he's going to be even more forceful than he has been in the past against unvaccinated Americans. And another piece of this is that the White House doesn't recognize that there are many reasons why someone might choose not to be vaccinated. Unfortunately, a lot of these vaccine mandates have not allowed people to claim religious exemptions or medical exemptions, and is basically trying to force everyone, regardless of what other reasons they might have for not getting the vaccine, to get vaccinated. And I think not taking those people into account only makes his message that much weaker.
Another thing I want to talk to you about is your latest article that you wrote for The Spectator. In it, you say that the NFL is the latest American sports league to cave to Chinese interests. Talk to us more about that, and also the marketing agreement that labeled Taiwan as part of China. What more can you tell us about that?
That's right. The National Football League just released its international market agreements, which means they are going to start broadcasting games and selling merchandise in countries abroad across the globe. And they released a map that showed the various areas in which teams those viewers would be able to access. And in doing so, they included Taiwan as part of China. And of course, Taiwan considers itself an independent region separate from the CCP and not governed by them. China would very much like to take ownership over Taiwan. And that's currently a huge fight in international relations. And the NFL has wholeheartedly taken China's stance on that. And they're not the only league that has done this. The NBA, of course, refuses to allow fans to bring in anti-CCP signs to their games because China is a huge market for its international viewership as well. And the MLB has partnerships with China as well. And it's very unfortunate because these leagues talk about wokeness and social justice policies here at home, but they are actively enabling a regime that commits numerous human rights abuses, as well as is a huge geopolitical foe to the United States and a national security threat.
Well, Amber, unfortunately, we have to leave it right there. So much more we can talk about, but appreciate your time and analysis. And if we don't talk to you before Christmas, Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.